There's a lot of unprofessional landlords out there that are worried about where this renters' right reform is going, giving the tenants more right. So not only is barrier for entry, but it's also an opportunity for potentially more professional landlords to excel in this particular space.
There's reasons why rent has continued to increase and increase and increase, and it seems to be the outside opinion that it's just greedy landlords wanting more money, but a lot of the landlords that operate in that space are losing money on a monthly basis. Everyone scrutinizes landlords out there. It's tenants versus landlords, and there's so much hate in the comments towards landlords. There are plenty of very, very good landlords out there. There are obviously a small few that spoil it for the rest. It's a difficult place to be, for sure. Getting even more difficult to be a landlord. The Renters' Rights Bill. I've got to let you crack on with this because I can't bring myself to read it. I've seen bits and bobs in it and it just scares the shit out of me. I think tenants already have an incredible amount of protection from the government, and it sounds like it's going to be even more in their favour with this Renters' Right Bill. So
speak or worry no further. So I'd be telling a lie if this was all my point of view. I've actually had some help from my brother because it got thrown on me that someone said, what are people doing in their business to combat the Renters' Right Bill at Brendan's event? And I don't really deal with the day-to-day in our HOA business. So there might be Section 21 notice to service evictions going forward. And I don't even know that they're taking place. General comments are, I don't think it's as bad as people are letting out for HMO landlords specifically, which is all buy-to-let landlords. So first off, it's abolishing Section 21 no-fault evictions. Essentially, that is landlords will no longer be able to evict tenants without providing a reason, making tenancy more secure. Evicting will only allow under specific legal grounds, such as selling the property or tenant misconduct. Obviously, tenant misconduct might be breaching their lease or not paying rent. I don't think this is a massive change. A lot of our tenants are typically in the property between 18 and 36 months anyway, and we're kind of a stepping stone in their property. So it's not a case where they're going to be living there for 8-10 years and push their luck. Transition to a single system or periodic tenancies. Again, not massively impacting us because in Central Suites, we have management in-house. If you had to pay a estate agent for the churn of tenancies, that might be more of a cost of implementation that you may face if you have applied to that property or you've got an estate agent or worse than that. I don't think that's a huge impact for us. Stronger grounds for possession. So landlords can reclaim property for personal use. They can evict tenants for persistent rent arrears. So this is actually pretty good for the industry. So this is one in our favour. Tick. Rent increases to be all regulated. We don't think this is a massively bad one. Interestingly, there was a bill actually floated in Los Angeles when all the fires happened, because what was happening is everyone that's house got burnt down needed to live downtown in LA, and people that still had other houses available were like triple Xing their value of the rent and taking advantage of that specific situation. This is kind of a similar ground to this. So if you're renting a property within that tenancy, it can only be reviewed once a year. We typically, as mentioned, have 18 to 36 month tenancies anyway in our HMOs. Buy-to-lets might be slightly longer, but you obviously just want to make sure you're on your onion to increase rent. We actually have a commercial building. We kind of forget every year to increase the rent. Then you've got new ombudsman for landlord disputes, which is good for the industry to weed out professional landlords. So actually one comment that my brother mentioned, which I think is completely correct, is there's a lot of unprofessional landlords out there that are worried about where this renters' right reform is going, giving the tenants more right. So not only is barrier for entry, but it's also an opportunity for potentially more professional landlords to excel in this particular space. There's also induction of property portal. Landlords must register their properties an official government portal to ensure compliance with legal requirements. Again, if you're on your onions, that shouldn't be an issue. Banning blanket, no DSS, no PEPs. So landlords cannot outright refuse tenants on benefits, and tenants can not have the right to request PEPs. I mean, it's a difficult one. It's not ideal. And as a potential landlord, you'd be stuck there with potentially a large deposit that you would normally go down the route of, but it's also limited against rent. So I actually think that's very unfair in the landlord's favour. And what is actually the issue in this is I've known firsthand is people should make a conscious decision of taking on a PEP, full well knowing that it might be difficult to rent, rather than taking a PEP and then just arguing the fact that they can't get a property to let. More powers for local authorities, councils have stronger enforcement powers against rogue landlords. Again, if you're a rogue landlord, why should you be worried anyway? Like, you're probably not acting in cause anyway. But generally speaking, we don't actually find it as hugely detrimental to the wider portfolio. There's huge opportunity with tightening regulations and increasing transparency in the PRS. Many traditional landlords may find the new compliance actually quite overwhelming in that additional red tape, including the abolishing of the Section 21 stricter rent controls, mandatory property registration could lead to the old school landlords moving out of the market and being like a bit of a recycle for new landlords. And that's obviously already coming in place with the taxation anyway. So I think if you're operating a tight ship, you should be fine and it shouldn't be too much impact. And actually, Ryan Beaumont, who I know very well, who works up north, says the same thing. So I don't think it's as scary as everyone's making it out to be. I think people that are maybe in student accommodation, it might be a bit more difficult. I think if people solely have ASTs and buy-to-lets, that might be more difficult. But as far as what the space we operate in, I don't think it's too much of an issue.
Love the podcast and all the information you both share. I've just started listening to them all from the start after hearing a couple of them getting hooked. Such valuable information. I do love your pod whilst driving with a cuppa site to site. Love the podcast. Very honest and informative. Listen every week now, and I'm working my way through all the previous ones. Keep them coming. This is the feedback we get from our Property Experts podcast. So if you haven't checked it out, you can go back to the live section on our YouTube channel where you can see all of the back catalogue, or if you prefer audio format, all of the video podcasts are put into audio format for Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So head over there and follow.
I think the student thing is if somebody can move in to a house share and literally after 2 months give notice and be like, actually, I don't fancy this, I want to move out. And when you're a student, you work in the student year cycles, don't you? So the likelihood is that by July, everyone's sorted their accommodation. So if you've now got loads of voids because one of your 6 tenants has moved out, the likelihood of finding that 6th tenant to replace them is probably going to be quite difficult because everyone's already sorted. So you might end up with a void for quite a long period trying to fill that extra 6th unit. So from my understanding is that it doesn't include halls of residences. So, if you're a big PRS, PBSA kind of investor, developer, you're covered, which seems to be the way that a lot of this stuff is going. It's very, very favorable to the big, investment companies who own these bigger assets where this right bill doesn't really affect. But your professional landlord that provides student lets is really under the cosh. This will affect them massively. It won't affect the bigger players, but it'll affect the small fry like us who just have, 1 or 2. And if tenants start to move out after 2 months, it would be very, very difficult to fill them back in. So, and do we really want, since Section 24 tax, people have been moving out of the space from a private rental perspective in spades, but the private rental sector, I think still occupies 27% of the market last time I checked. So there's still a huge demand for this, but there's not a lot of supply. And there's reasons why rent has continued to increase and increase and increase. And it seems to be the outside opinion that it's just greedy landlords wanting more money. But a lot of the landlords that operate in that space are losing money on a monthly basis because of the tax implications, the red tape, the additional payments in terms of transactional fees and costs and associated energy bills that have increased massively. So everyone scrutinizes landlords out there. We've posted stuff on our YouTube channel about this type of thing where it's tenants versus landlords, and there's so much hate in the comments towards landlords. As far as I'm concerned, unfounded. They provide a need for the market. There are plenty of very, very good landlords out there. There are obviously a small few that spoil it for the rest, and they're obviously the ones that are going to get the most and biggest profile. So it's a difficult place to be for sure. Getting even more difficult to be a landlord.
If you got value from this video, make sure you click the subscribe button down below and ring the notification bell because we release one video at least every week, so you'll be the first to get notified. See you on the next one.